All I want is for you to learn to value yourself, Haru. You don't have to give yourself away like that.
Hey, hello, how do you do? Shady Doorags here. A few weeks ago, I released a Beastars video and made a comment about Haru's lifestyle and how the show presented an interesting character by giving her a different motivation than expected and making the audience question stereotypes. However, I received comments from multiple people asking similar questions. Questions like, why do the animals in Beastars even care about Haru's behavior? Why would we, the audience, judge her for it when she's not hurting anyone? I thought these questions made for good book club material, so I figured it'd be cool to make a video answering them. But first, a quick recap. Haru is a white dwarf rabbit student in the world of Beastars who has a gentle nature about her. There are rumors spread throughout the school that she sleeps around with just about anyone, including those who are already in relationships. Haru proves these rumors to be true when she tries to sleep with Legoshi. Now, most characters with this trait are usually presented as selfish with low self-control. That the only reason they move from partner to partner is because they're addicted to the positive consequences of sex, things like the dopamine rush or the constant attention from someone else. But Haru's reasoning is that the only time people seem to treat her like a person instead of a helpless infant is during intercourse. So she sacrifices her social standing in order to keep getting that type of response from people. This lifestyle has caused the other girls to both ostracize and bully her, and the guys to avoid her. Alright, so why would Haru's actions upset anyone? Well, to talk about that, we have to put on our big boy pants and talk about sex. Little side note, in this video, when I mention sex, I'm specifically talking about an act of coitus between two or more individuals where all parties are consenting and no one is getting paid for their service. Anyway, everyone individually has a different stance on sex, and it's my belief that your opinion on sex will determine how you feel about Haru's situation. If sex isn't all that sacred to you, you might be confused at why everyone is being so judgmental about this. But if you hold any kind of sacred notion about sex, I'd wager you understand where the judgmental characters are coming from. Haru isn't simply being sexually active. From her encounter with Legoshi, we can conclude that she was willing to have sex with anyone, or at least any guy, who asked for it. The more you give something away, the less value it has, and Haru's actions display that she has very little value of her sex life. Now, we as the audience know her real reasons for having sex, but to the characters in Beastars, it looks like Haru simply has no regard for herself nor others. Sex throughout history has genuinely had a sort of sacredness behind it. There are many consequences, both good and bad, that come with having sex. As such, many individuals and societies believe there are certain responsibilities that also come with having sex, thus concluding that it shouldn't be given away willy-nilly, but only to certain people under certain circumstances. Now, I know what you're thinking. Shady's talking about religious people. Well, they are examples, but the amount of value one puts on sex is a spectrum. It could be people like Christians who believe in having sex only with people you've married. But there's also examples like not having sex with someone else when you're in a dedicated relationship, only having sex with people after a third date, only having sex with people you know well, etc. In Beastars, it doesn't seem like anyone is taken to an extreme degree, but most of the characters do seem to have limits when it comes to who they will have sex with and when. In the real world, the same could also be said. While Western civilization has become more liberal over the years, there's still a lot of value placed on the tradition of keeping sex somewhat sacred. How many people do you know would be okay hearing that their long-term partner was sleeping with someone else? This is exactly the kind of example we see in some of Haru's partners, hurt when they discover they're not her only current fling.
I get it now.
That means there are other guys out there who she's got her claws into.
Her claws? Come on, she's a rabbit.
Okay, so there are people out there who disagree with Haru's stance and might disapprove of her actions. But why does that lead to things like ostracization? Well, the thing about sex is that it requires more than one person. Don't make a joke about that. When you're having sex, you're involving someone else into your decision. Haru has to involve other people in her sex life, and since most of her partners hold sex to a more sacred standard than she does, it comes off as her using others. And that's kind of true. Haru isn't having sex to pursue a relationship, but rather to get the emotion of people treating her like a real person. She's not using people in the traditional sense, but she's still using their want of a relationship for her own reasons. The only way we can say Haru isn't using others is if she simply didn't know how her sleeping around affects them, which is highly unlikely considering in her goodbye letter, she exclaims how her actions caused her reputation to fall. It seems more like Haru just doesn't care how her actions affect others. So, why do people in Beastars hate Haru? Long story short, there exist people that have a problem with Haru's sex life because it demonstrates a lack of respect for their own views on sex. And because Haru has to have sex with another person, she's guaranteed to disrespect them unless that person happens to share the same views on sex as she does, or they just don't care, like Louis. Now, that's fine and dandy, but I'm betting you want to know if I personally disapprove of Haru's actions. After all, some of you need your opinions validated, and others need someone to lynch for disagreeing with him. Well, first off, never mistake my opinions of a character's actions for my opinions of me liking them, nor my opinions on if they're a good character. Chloe is my favorite character from Miraculous, but rarely does she ever do things I personally approve of. Second, yes, I do personally think what Haru is doing is wrong. Not only wrong, but objectively wrong. And I understand that some of you will feel attacked by that opinion, but let me at least make my case before you go to the comment section. It's very well known that lots of people have grievances with their partners sleeping around with someone else. And even if it wasn't, sleeping with just about anyone who asks for it has negative consequences that are both unfair to Haru and her partners. If Haru suspects her partner would not approve of how open she is, she should make it clear to them what their relationship entails. More so than anything though, Haru is doing all this so she can temporarily be treated like a person. This is a shortcut to what she really needs. Rather than sleeping with anyone who asks for it, she should make it known that she doesn't like being treated as though she were helpless, and she should only hang around those who treat her with respect. Now, that's probably a lesson the show is trying to teach Haru given her situation with Legoshi, but as it stands, she's currently not doing that. But that's just my opinion, and as always, I encourage you guys to leave your thoughts in the comments below, even if they vehemently disagree with me. Anyway, this was just a quick video for people to chew on. I didn't spend as much time as I normally would on a video for this, but I wanted to put something out while I work on a few BoJack projects. Sorry about the weird release schedule, it's life outside of YouTube kicking my butt, blah blah blah, excuses. The sooner I can be a full-time YouTuber, the better. This has been Shady Doorags. So long, farewell, Dad Wiedersehen, goodbye.